Welcome to episode 24 of the Career Breakthrough Series. I'm your host, Paul Ames, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit the subscribe button on the bottom right of the screen now, so it allows you to keep you up to date with the amazing guests and shows that we have out each week for you that are really going to help you push through to those new levels in your career. Our guest today has pushed through some amazing barriers to get the levels of success that he's currently gaining. He is also a round 4 finalist on the hit TV show So You Think You Can Dance. I'm talking about none other than Zach Benson. So Zach is also a full-time entrepreneur, a hustler, world traveller, dancer, and a connector. And he is the current founder and CEO of Actionable. Actionable specializes in creating Instagram campaigns that reach millions of people, which he has currently used or previously used to help achieve the levels of success using social media and to create a massive impact on the world. So let's get started on this incredible interview, guys, and I'll see you on the inside. Guys, welcome to episode 24 of the Career Breakthrough Series. I'm your host, Paul Ames, and on the show today, I've got an incredible guest who's going to be sharing his amazing life story and journey, and even reaching the round 4 of the So You Think You Can Dance final. I'm talking about none other than Zach Benson. So Zach is an entrepreneur and a hustler, a world traveller, dancer, and connector. As I said before, he was a round 4 finalist in So You Think You Can Dance, and he's also the founder and CEO of Actionable. Zach, thank you so much for agreeing to be on the show. I loved our chat we had before, man, and I'm so happy to have you on. So if you could just give my audience a bit of a background about, basically a bit about yourself and what your upbringing was like for you growing up.
Yeah, sure. Well, as you can see, I was actually born in South Korea. So I grew up there, and when I was about 6 months old, I was brought over and adopted by my parents in the States. So I pretty much grew up in Iowa, good old Iowa, and lived there my whole life. Went to high school, college, started to get into breakdancing, and just pretty much lived in Iowa my whole life. I was the only Asian in my school, and pretty much that's how I got started. My friend handed me a DVD and was like, "Zach, let's do this. Why don't you live up to your Asianness? Like, all these other Asian dancers are super good at dancing. You need to be good at dancing too." And that's kind of how it all started.
Awesome, man. That's really cool. And I was just saying to you before, I was just watching some of your videos on YouTube. It's absolutely incredible. You're an amazing breakdancer, and you've got some serious talent, man. So you should be really proud of yourself from all your hard work you put in it. It's brilliant. Thank you, man. And to be totally honest with you, though, it does seem like it was all like an overnight success and everything looks good now. But, growing up was extremely hard for me. 1, because I looked different, and then 2, because I had a speech impediment and no one could understand me. So I remember going to these classes, these speech therapy classes, and hating them. And one day I told the lady I was going to quit, and she's like, "Zach, if you quit, no one will be able to understand you. You probably won't amount to much, and you'll never be able to say the letter R in your whole life." And man, I remember how much like that hurt inside, and how much that like just limited my potential at that age. I was only 7, and I believed that lie pretty much throughout middle school, high school, and college. Up until my 20s, I did not say a word with the letter R in it. Wow.
So I always felt like if I could speak correctly, then I could do anything in life. But I had that limiting factor and, a couple other things. So it made growing up kind of hard. But that's, a little bit about my story.
I can imagine, man. And thanks so much for sharing that. I think, as I said before, you should be really proud of yourself, because it shows a testament to your hard work, and, that a lot of people think that things just happen magically overnight, when it's actually a result of a lot of hard work and a lot of, roadblocks and mental breakthroughs that we have to work through ourselves, like you said, with our own limiting beliefs. So, thanks for sharing, man. That's amazing. You should be proud, man.
Yeah, man.
So Zach, I just to touch on that. So I know we've all got mental roadblocks or obstacles or really tough things that we've worked through in our life. I know that was a big one for you, but what would you say would be another big mental roadblock or something that's really stopped you? And how do you think you've successfully worked through that?
Yeah, well, that was one. And then, like I said, I participated on the TV show So You Think You Can Dance, and each round I made it a little bit further and advanced in the competition. But I remember one time on my last audition, one of the producers saying, "Zach, you just don't have what it takes." And I remember walking off the stage with my head held down low, and this other famous dancer ran up to me and was like, "Dude, like, you did awesome, but you just need to take ballroom classes, learn how to do partner style, move out to LA for a year, and then you'll make it." And so I remember that producer's words hitting me pretty hard. And then, I decided not to try out again. One, because he hurt me. And then two, another producer was like, "Hey, don't put all of your eggs in one basket. There's other ways to make a living out of dance." So it's kind of like a really negative thing happened. And then, positive too. Like, there's many different paths that you can take to do what you want and follow your passions and dreams, But I guess I learn how to ignore the no's and also listen to the no's, but don't let it hold you back, Like, I feel like a lot of people are afraid to fail.
Definitely, man, and it's so true. I always talk about this, and it's the influence and opinions of others, and like, I myself, and I'm sure most of the people listening have, listened to the influence and opinions of other people. And, quite often they're like family and friends, or like you said, mentors, or, famous dance people who you look up to. So, in hearing that, it really crushes you and devastates you, and you often take that on board. So, yeah, it's good that you can see the positives coming out of it, whereas a lot of people just wouldn't have that in them. They just let that defeat them and never move forward with anything else in their dance career or in their life. So, yeah, that's amazing, man. So, Zach, I'd love to know, what would be the best career advice you reckon you've ever received in your life? Now, it doesn't have to be from a career practitioner. It could be, a mentor, a friend, or a family member. What do you reckon would be the best career advice you've ever received?
One of the best pieces of advice that I received was from a mentor, and he was just like, compare yourself to your best self, the person that you want to become. Because it's kind of like, nowadays we have YouTube, we have Google, we have so much out there that we can constantly compare ourselves to other people. I know I'm never going to be the best dancer. There's thousands of people better than me, and I can see that on YouTube every single day. But his advice to me was just like, "Hey, Zach, look at how far you've come. You've come a long ways. Just think of it like a battle. You against you against who you want to be in the future. And if you keep that attitude and that mindset and stay hungry to learn and grow, it's going to take you very far." So I think that was important to me.
That's really great advice too. And it's something I think, like a lot of my previous guests have said as well. It's like, keep looking for the thing to move forward and keep asking yourself, what next? So I think that's a great bit of advice you just shared, guys. Go back and have a listen to what Zach just shared with us. So, Zach, I know a lot of us have a really positive habit and positive trait and belief that's really helped us achieve the success we've gained in our life, but we've also got a hindering habit or something that's really stopped us moving forward and achieving that level of success we want. So what would you say would be your most positive habit or trait that you've got? And what would be probably one of your most hindering habits or traits?
Definitely. I think for me, it's just my positivity, enthusiasm, like my attitude. Attitude is everything. So it's just taking that attitude and into action, and then you'll see results, if you stay positive, enthusiastic long enough. My negative trait would be, I'm not a patient person. So at times I can be a little bit too aggressive when I'm emailing people or talking to people, and they might feel a little bit like I'm pushing them or coming off a little bit too aggressive. So I've learned that to just take a step back, to realize that these people have crazy lives just like I do, and to really seek to understand where they're at and what they're going through, and just be like, wait a week, and then follow up instead of like the next day. So I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah, definitely, man. I can relate. I think I've got the exact same personality style where I'm pretty forward focused and, sometimes come across a bit pushy where, I try, especially for guests and stuff like that and with my business.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great trait to have as well. But I think, I've learned the same lesson where you kind of have to just step back and let things happen a little bit more and be more patient. I'm too impulsive and, sometimes holds me back too. So.
Yeah. Like, be more patient and get to know the person and take an interest in their lives and their products and services and what they do, and then later ask for your stuff maybe.
Definitely, man. I'd love to know about your experience on So You Think You Can Dance as well. I mean, that's a massive achievement. And I'd love to know, like, for me, I know you're quite comfortable on stage. I think, you've done a TEDx speech as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Just last month in Korea. So.
Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, I saw the video on YouTube. Yeah, and that's amazing. So I was going to ask about that. So touching on the So You Think You Can Dance thing. So how did you find? Did you find that you had a fear getting in front of all these people and expressing your abilities and your talents on the stage? Was that something that you had to overcome yourself?
Well, yeah, because you get to the city and the audition place, and you have to wait in line hours and hours and hours, and then you finally get in, you get your number, you wait like 10 more hours. I waited all day, all night, and then you get to dance for about 30 seconds. Sometimes they cut people in like 5 seconds. If they don't like them, they're like, you're out. So crazy. It's a really high intensity, high pressure environment. And I remember, I was super nervous, super scared, but I knew I had a game plan. I knew what I was going to do. I practiced my moves so much that they were just automatic. Like I could execute without thinking about it. And so I was also confident too. So it was a mix of fear, stepping into the unknown, but confidence, knowing that I can execute my moves. So it is very scary when you get on the big stage and you have the real judges, the famous people, 5 cameras in your face. I mean, bright lights. That's just something that you have to experience, and you can't really plan for it until you're in the moment and you're exposed to it, more. But yeah, it was scary but fun.
Definitely, man. So I'm just touching on that. I'd love to know if you've got any tips or advice for anyone who's in the same sort of field or who is looking to progress in their dance career, potentially get on board with some of these shows, or potentially to move up in other areas of their life. Do you think there's any 3 to 5, say, actionable tips that you think you could help my audience out with that you've personally learned?
Yeah, so this is for basically anybody, but specifically artists. It's just, you hear about all of these TV shows and you see these people participated in doing it. If you see something that you want to do, just do it and go for it. I mean, maybe you won't make it the first time, but you have to try out again and again and again and again, and be okay with failing and learning from your mistakes and going back to the lab, training again, working harder, finding those mentors, and auditioning again. So most of those people that you see on those shows, it takes them about 5 to 8 different times before they actually make it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? It's staying persistent and never giving up. And pretty much the other advice is you can contact anyone. Just search on Google, on Facebook, express interest in them, and send a friendly message with value, and figure out a way that you can help that person or maybe solve their problems or their needs. Everybody is down to talk to someone who's genuine and real and nice. So just be like that when you're online too. Don't be any different.
Exactly. I love that last bit of advice, man. I think that's so true. And yeah, exactly what I found from connecting with people and that. And it's funny, someone today commented on a Facebook post of mine saying, I'd love you to write an article on how to connect with these amazing people like yourself. And I'm like, I've just been always genuine and just reaching out to people. There's not really much more to it. Like I've just kind of been persistent and, reached out to people and built good connections. That was pretty much it. There's no big thing for me to contact people and connect with people. So yeah, it's kind of funny. Like there's no miracle or secret to doing it really.
Yeah. I think what kind of stumps people is like how exactly to do that. Like what is the exact process and what to say? Because for us it's kind of normal, but for other people, other stuff is normal to them, but not normal to us.
Yeah.
So it's like just kind of like breaking those steps down. I think.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
So, Zach, I'd love to know, obviously dance was quite a big part of your career, and I know you've got an amazing new business now called Assistagram. I'd love to find out a little bit more about your current business and what's really exciting you about in the future for your business.
Yeah, definitely. Well, how it all started, to be totally honest with you, is I got injured dancing, and I never expected to get injured. But you know, I remember hearing some advice from my financial advisor, like 2012. He's like, "Dude, Zach, what would you do if you can't use your hands? What if you can't use your feet? Like, you got to have a backup plan." And I was like, "Dude, I'm never gonna get injured. I'm like super strong. I'm always training. Like, I'm a personal trainer too. Like, it's not gonna happen." But so that came back to haunt me, and I was like, okay, what the heck do I do? Because dance was my life. And, you know, but then I looked back and I realized, well, how did I come so far? It was all through social media.
Wow.
It was all through me creating an awesome dance video, having professional photography, you know, a good website, and learning how to write email copy, and then Instagram, good Instagram profile, and then reaching out to people, right? Showing people what I can do, putting myself out there. So that's how I started to get passionate about Assistagram. Now, Assistagram's been in business for about over a year, clients all over the world. And it was just started basically for two reasons: to help other people build their businesses and brands, and to teach them how to get their names and services out there, because that's a lot of people's problems, but something I've been able to do really well. By now, I've traveled all over the world, done this full time, just teaching dance on the weekends, and anyone else can do the same thing if they have that brand on Instagram and Facebook.
Exactly. Yeah. That's awesome, man. And guys, I can vouch for it. Zach's stuff's amazing. He's given me some advice and tips, and yeah, it's already getting some great results. So I'll put the link to Zach's website and his contact form if you want to get in touch with him. For anyone looking to grow their brand, or any artists who are looking to really raise their public profile and, you know, get them into these potential, you know, great opportunities, then definitely reach out to Zach and get in contact with him.
Yeah.
So Zach, I'd love to know, obviously, you know, you've done some careers or some jobs before you got into all of this. So what are some of the previous careers or jobs that you've done before this? And what are some of the biggest takeaways that you've gained from those certain careers?
Okay, so right after school, I graduated college. I moved to Atlanta, did this experience, it was a volunteer experience for a whole year. So I was working at this resettlement agency for refugees.
Oh,
so
wow.
Basically, I was an assistant to the director, and I just helped these families from all over the world find jobs and homes, set up their apartments, did everything that, you know, that they need to learn how to live independently in America. So I lived on $2 a day for food for a whole year, served over 1,000 hours of community service, and just helped try to love my neighbors. And so that was my first job. It was more like a volunteer thing. But it taught me a lot about life, to see people as people, to, you know, just simply love on people and know that everybody's fighting a battle and has a story, but seeking to understand and to love them. You know, moving to a new country is scary. And the other job is, you know, personal training. So those are the two jobs I had. I also worked as a personal trainer for a year. And interesting story about this, I actually lost my job because I was trying to balance dance and personal training, and I was good at both, and I love teaching. It's my passion. Love helping people. But my boss was like, you got to choose one, Zach. You can't be traveling all over here. Like, you can make your own hours, but you actually got to be here. And I was making the gym a ton of money, doing a lot of having a lot of clients, helping them transform their bodies. But he was like, you got to choose one. And so I had to think about it. I was like, I want to do dance. And so I left, and my parents were like, Zach, what are you going to do? We spent all this money for you. You know, you go find another gym job. And I did just to make my parents happy, but it wasn't for me. And that's when I really took that leap of faith and went for my dance full time.
Wow, man. Thanks so much for sharing. What an amazing journey. And it shows the testament. Like, the first time I spoke to you, I thought, yeah, you're an amazing human being, man. Like, it's incredible from the last time we chatted and just hearing that from that previous career, being such a giving person to be able to help others with, their jobs and homes and settling into a new country. That's such an amazing thing to do, man. So hats off to you for that. That's incredible.
Yeah. So pretty much those are my two jobs.
Awesome, man. Thanks for that. So I got a bit of a random question here I ask all my guests. Obviously, coming from my career counseling background, there's a question called the miracle question. So it basically goes like this. So imagine if you went to sleep tonight and overnight a miracle had occurred. When you wake up the next morning, everything you ever wanted or anything you ever wanted to impact in the world or anyone you wanted to impact in the world had come true. You could make any difference and you could change anything in the world. What would be this really important thing that you'd want to change, and what would be the impact you'd want to create on the world?
That's a really good question. To be totally honest with you, like I feel most happy when I'm like helping people. Right? It feels good to have this business and do these things and be on TV, but like my most happiest times were like when I was in Atlanta, working as a volunteer. So I would just like to see like more people do that like after college. And it's just something simple. It's not like a really big miracle, but it would be cool. Like kind of change people's mindset. So they're thinking more about how can I help this person? How can I do a random act of kindness? How can I volunteer my time? And try to make a little bit of difference in this world. So I think that would be like kind of a miracle to me, because it would be interesting to surround myself with more like people thinking about other people and helping them and loving them every single moment of the day. I think together we could really create something amazing in this world.
Definitely, man. And I think there's such a lack of that. It's a great ability and great thought process to be able to help other people. And so giving, and unfortunately, like you said, a lot of people are just so focused on themselves that they don't actually think about giving back or, potentially helping others who are less fortunate. So yeah, I think that's a great miracle, and it'd make a massive impact in the world if everyone, contributed to helping towards that. You currently feel like, I know you love your social media, and it's been a massive part into what you're doing and helping others and yourself, with your personal branding. But do you feel like this is your why in life, like what you're really meant to be doing? Or do you feel like there's something more for you that you feel like you're just not quite there yet?
Yeah, I think for now it's good. It's like my stepping stone. It's my platform. It's like teaching is my passion. I know that is my why. Like I love to teach and break things down to people so that they can feel better, be encouraged, and to make them better. But I do definitely think there's something else out there, so I'm staying open to it. But all I want to do now is just simply try to help other people accomplish their dreams and do what they love. And I think by doing more of that, I'm going to be able to connect with more people, learn more things, become a better version of myself. And that's going to lead me down a different path to where I feel more comfortable speaking, doing presentations, traveling the world, and sharing life and writing books, doing seminars. I mean, that's the dream. I mean, honestly, it is to be able to teach that dance class, and after that hour dance class, I feel like I'm on top of the world. Kids wanting to take pictures, sign autographs. It's a good feeling when you can see them so pumped up and confident that they finally got this move. So I love it when people get things and it makes sense to them,
Definitely, man. And yeah, you're so right about that. I'm the same. I absolutely love like teaching and coaching people. It's the best feeling in the world once you see a breakthrough in someone, or for you, like you said, seeing them nail that move, or achieving something that they've worked so hard on, and then finally having it come through. There's nothing more motivating and uplifting in life. So yeah, that's a great one, man. So, Zach, we're just getting ready to wrap up soon. I just got a few more questions, but what would be the best book or resource that you really think's helped you in your life, either to progress and move forward, or has made a big impact in your life? What do you think would be your best book or resource?
Okay, I just want to name a couple because
Yeah, sure, man.
it's Make the Big Time Where You Are by Frosty Weathering,
Oh, cool.
and then The Traveler's Gift, and yeah, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, and The Slight Edge, um, and The Go Giver.
Okay.
Those are all books that really helped me. Just
Awesome. So what's the impact those books have had on your life? What sort of changes have they made in your life for you?
pretty much like, well, the Seven Habits was just, awesome principles to live my life by and just to learn how to be a listener. Because, yeah, I mean, we live in a world where everybody loves to talk and to focus on themselves. But if you really seek to understand, listen to people, make that person feel understood, they start to open up and ask you for advice. And that's when you can really have influence. And that's how, good listening helps you make new friends and more sales, and so many awesome things happen to it from it. And the other thing is the go giver, just thinking about more like, how can I love this person? How can I do something nice to this person? And just simply give with no strings attached. And it's all this opposite thinking. So guys, if you just do this opposite thinking, like give first, help someone, add value, like make them smile, make them feel good, make them feel special and important, and like you care about them, and you're constantly just focused on helping people, like just the good things will happen. They always do. So,
Definitely.
yeah.
That's so true, and that's something I always have tried to do most of my life, especially since finding my passion in career counselling and helping people with their problems. I think that's something I've always tried to do, is always see how I can help people and add value to their life, or give them something that they need with no strings attached. So, and I think that was the hard part for me. With business to start with, that was like one of my biggest obstacles, because I've always been quite a giving person, and then at one point I had to go, I need to start charging more for this. Like when I very first started, I was like, wasn't charging enough, or I was giving things away for free. And I'm like, yeah, it's business. I need to change that. But still, I still try and do, where I help someone out, voluntarily, or someone who needs it, like pro bono work. I try and do that as well with my career counseling. So yeah, just to give back and help someone who really needs it. So yeah, I think that's great advice, man.
Yeah, definitely, man.
So Zach, oh, sorry, man. What were you going to say?
Yeah, it's just all about that balance, Health goes up and down, finances go up and down, faith goes up and down, everything. But you have to have that balance, and know when to actually charge or when to not. So
definitely, man. So true. So Zach, I'd love to know, is there any parting advice you'd love to share with my audience that you feel that could really help them out with any area of their career, or, potentially a big learning or something you've come through yourself that was really beneficial?
Just my last advice would be, try to read as many books as you can, and, maybe read those books a few different times, because each time you read it, you're going to be at a different spot in life. But, if you're not reading, then you're not growing. And the other thing is to just continue to work hard, but find other mentors that have been there and done that, because mentors can shave off so much time from your learning curve that you can just reach the top a little bit faster. And the other thing is to not get discouraged, but to stay passionate and hungry about your passion and your dream. It's going to be a long, long journey. You're going to have a lot of up and downs. You're going to have people like your family, your brothers, your sisters, your mom and dad tell you no and doubt you and make you feel terrible. But you got to keep going and, listen to your heart and just keep working. And eventually it's going to happen. Maybe 5 years, 10 years, who knows? But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Exactly. Zach, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, man. I love your spirit and the energy you bring. Like, you're just an incredible person to talk to, man. I'm so glad I've connected with you. So Zach, where could my audience get in contact with you? Say if they wanted to, potentially build up their brand or their social profile to really take it to a new level, where would be somewhere that they could best reach out to you?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm happy to connect with anybody. If you just want to talk about life or business, dance, pretty much anything. So you guys can contact me at benson.zach, ZACH@gmail.com, or you can reach me on assistagram.us is my company page if you're interested in social media. or follow me and follow my travels on Instagram at the Travelers List with 2 L's. And yeah, right now I'm here in Korea. Next week, I'm going to be in Boracay, and then just all over. So I'd love to connect.
Wow, man. Thanks so much. And guys, be sure to jump on board with Zach's amazing programming and his work. He's really amazing at what he does, and he's such a giving person. So, yeah, if you've loved the content that Zach's really shared, be sure to share this episode, and also don't forget to subscribe. So, Zach, thanks again for being on the show, man. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, and look forward to many more conversations with you in the future. So thanks again, man. I appreciate your time.
Thanks again, too. Really appreciate you. It's an honor. So let's stay in touch. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. And I look forward to sharing another incredible episode with another incredible entrepreneur or person who's going to help change the game in your career. So stay tuned next week. Thanks, guys.